Hello, welcome to another video. Before we get into the lovely collaging footage of a nice flowery birdhouse scene, I wanted to quickly promote my recent shop update. I will link it in the description. If you like the look of collage, I have loads of collaged prints, stickers, washi tape, all of it very cute. So I recommend, if you're into this kind of art, having a nosy down there, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Anyway, getting on with the video now. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to do something which I very rarely do because, well, to be honest, I don't really like doing it, but I thought I would do it. It's not I don't like doing it, it's just I would rather not do it. Basically, I'm going to be trying to talk real time and make a collage. The reason I don't do it very often is because collage is such a slow process that for me to make any progress, I have to film for a long time. And that's much easier to just speed that footage up. And I can have music on in the background, I can have videos on in the background that I can just, to keep you company. But obviously when I'm doing this, I need silence, which is why I often don't do it. I'm going to talk through bits. Some bits will be sped up with music, but I'm going to try and talk through bits real time because I very rarely do it actually. And I think it's interesting to hear the thoughts in the moment when I'm having them. So this collage which I'm going to be working on, it will be, I'll pop some pictures up on screen. So I did a birdhouse collage a few weeks ago and I really liked it, but that was on a white background and it was more like a tree. But this one I do more of a garden scene with a much smaller birdhouse in the middle. As you can see, there's loads of paper around me on my desk. I've just finished that commission piece I did last month as last month's main Patreon video, so this is like the following day. So my desk is already filled full of loads of paper from that. I've just gone through and I've just picked some of my favourite bits of green and I'm going to see if I can try and piece them together. I've also painted some more specific piece of paper because I really want to do this flower. So this texture is trying to mimic that flower, so I've made sure to have purple, we've got going into a gradient of yellow with those like dark splatters in the middle, so I think this will be really nice for those flowers. I've also got this collage propped up so I can look at it as inspiration. Sometimes when I'm feeling not particularly arty, like today, some days I feel really arty and other days trying to get myself to make good art is like trying to get water from a stone. Today feels like one of those days, so I'm hoping if I have this up and I look at it, it will remind me that I do have this ability and I can do it. And plus I really like the wobbly edge of this. So many of my collages recently have had very like structured, like rectangle surrounds around them. I'll pop some pictures up so you can see what I mean. I want to do something that's got more of a bumpy background like this. Right, so I've got my references up in front of me on the laptop. I guess I'll just start moving things around and see what happens. This is going to be slow. But like I said, I will speed things up every now and then because it will just be like a 5-hour long video otherwise, where not much happens. So let's get going. I'm going to change the composition a lot from the pictures. So I don't really know where to start, to be honest. Kind of making it up from my head, but I reckon I'll rip this. I've also not been ripping my paper as much as I used to. I barely rip paper anymore in my collages. I don't know why, I just guess I forget about it. I get to the end of the collage and I think I didn't rip a single thing on that collage. So I need to start ripping more because I think it looks good. Maybe if I go like dark at the bottom, light at the top, or maybe just dark all around with light flowers on top. See, this is the kind of, these are the decisions which take hours in my head to figure out. But I'm going to try for this one to be a bit more loose with it, and because sometimes when I don't think too much about collage, it ends up really good. So maybe if I just do that now and just stop overthinking every single piece that I put down and just go with the flow a bit more. Maybe if I cut out, whatever I do put down here needs to be dark enough for the purple flowers on top to pop. So maybe if I cut out some of this, then I'll be able to see if it works with the purple on top. I also don't know how big to do this. How big do I want this to be? Basically the flowers need to start purple at the bottom and then gradient up to yellow the higher they get. So let's just cut out a bit of purple, I suppose. See, already that's quite a nice colour palette, so I'm happy with that. Right, now these flowers, I've never collaged these flowers before, so I don't quite know how to approach them. They're like a tube, big tube. So let's try like this shape first and then we'll see. Maybe it's like that shape, but then it has an extra bit on it. I'm just thinking about where to cut it from. I want like a darker purple, so probably there. They've all got these like spotty bits in the middle, so maybe if it's kind of like that. I don't know if that looks very good though. It's not really the right shape. Let me try and cut out the actual right shape. It's kind of like a star. I always avoid these flowers, collage in these flowers, because they're just quite, I can't wrap my head around them, to be honest. So I always just collage the more simpler ones. I need to figure out a way to get these to work in collage. So it's more like that kind of shape with a tube. Kind of like that, although I think that might be a bit too big. I can always trim it down. Maybe this will be one of those things that only looks good once it's shaded. I think this kind of star shape is better than just like this circle. Let me shade it a bit. Okay, that's getting somewhere now. It's getting somewhere. Happy with that. A subtle bit of shading maybe along the edges here. Maybe like a little stripe down the middle. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest, as a first attempt. I reckon that multiplied multiple times, grading it up into a yellow will make for quite a pretty flower. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop talking for a bit now, and I'm going to make a bunch of flowers, speed it up, and then I'll come back once I've done that. I'm back. I've cut out lots of these shapes here, and I think I've found some nice bits that I can piece together on it. I've just popped these over here to keep them all together. So I reckon if I keep the top of it mainly my lighter colours and then kind of dark in the middle, because I just cut out, where did I put it now? I just cut out a really rough like birdhouse shape. I love this one to be like the actual thing. I might do it a bit bigger, to be honest. Like a dark bit there for the birdhouse to sit on and really pop, because the birdhouse will probably be white. I was thinking something like this. I don't really know what order to place all these things in. I don't really think it matters that much. I think I'm overthinking it. I am overthinking it. Like, should I go like dark at the top and bottom like that, or should I clump my darks together? Either way, I think I'll be able to make it work. I should just start sticking stuff down and see what happens, but these will sit on top of this colour here, which is dark enough for them to pop, so that's really my main concern. So they're going to go like a nice swoop there, maybe a smaller one up here. Do I go there and then that down? Yeah, I'll probably do that, that makes more sense. Something like that. That's quite a nice piece though. No, as soon as I put it there, I decided against it. I've been sat here, I didn't record any of it, but I've been sat here for, I'd say a good half an hour, just like testing out every bit of green that I have, seeing what works. There's a little bit of warm green on the edge of that. Try and cut out an interesting looking shape. So maybe something like that could be cute. Right, I'm going to stick all this down and then I'll get back to you. Just coming in with a quick voiceover here to say that if you like the way this print looks, although you've not seen the finished thing yet, but if you stick around to the end you'll see it. If you like the way this finished piece looks, it will be available as June's Patreon print. So if you pledge to the little snips tier over on my Patreon page at any point in the month of June, you will receive a print of this in the post, an A5 print, as well as instantly gaining access to a bunch of videos. I think there's like 16 videos on there now, all pretty long videos. Some of my best videos I think I've ever made are over on Patreon. Plus there's monthly downloadable pieces of art, so like cards and like little DIY paper craft kits. There's all sorts over on Patreon. There's an exclusive blog post every month. There's a live stream every month. So yeah. If you join, you'll instantly gain access to all the previous month's things, so there's my little Patreon promo. Right, so all this is stuck down now, got a nice base to work on top of. So I reckon I'm just gonna, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know, a lot of collaging is sitting and thinking, I don't know. Where's my little house gone? I've lost my little house. Oh, it's there. So that's going to be, to be honest, like, let me cut out another placeholder. Will it be bigger? I don't know. There we go, there's that phrase again. I do not know. Actually, no, I reckon small will be cute. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just going to start like placing these in and seeing how they look. And then I can start like making the stems that go in between them all in the lighter green. But I'm just going to see what they look like. I reckon this will look cute. So they'll kind of work their way up. I need a lighter green. Something lurking in here somewhere. Too light. It's quite nice. Quite nice. Keep that out. I've got just like a pile of green here. There's got to be somewhat usable in here. Oh, hold on. We've got a winner. This will be nice. Alright, let's cut a little strip off of this and see what I can do with it. Alright, something like that. Probably make it a bit thinner, a little bit chunky. I don't know, where do I want it to come to? Probably come to here. I don't want it to come all the way up because I want to leave room for extra stuff up here. So maybe to about there. I might just rip this a bit so I can... I just don't like it when things look too perfect, so sometimes I'll just purposely rip some whilst I'm sticking it down, just so I can stick it back a little bit wonkier. I just think that looks a lot more interesting than if I was to stick it down as one big piece. I'm looking for the right shade of green, the dark green, that's too dark. Ugh. Cut out a little leaf. Pop it down there before I stick the flowers on top. Look at this, I've just cut a shape out and I'm sticking it down immediately. That's quick decisions. Shall I add another one? Why not? So I was going to stick it there, but I quite like that bit of pink. That little pink splatter. Maybe I'll do it there instead. Okay, I kind of want a little stem coming off of this to feed into the flowers a bit, rather than it all just coming directly off that one thing. So I might actually, before I go in and add the flowers, just do a few like stems coming off of it like that. I think it's probably going to look really boring if they're all just coming straight directly off of that. I need the little details of the little stems. I want it to look really full, so just making sure I've got all these little base details to add everything on top of, and then like hopefully once it's all comes together it'll look really busy, because I'm creating these layers at this stage so that later on it will look super busy. Alright, I'm in business. I've switched to the smaller scissors now. Things are about to get fiddly. Just adding that onto the end of the flower, because on the reference picture it's got these shapes at the end of it and it just kind of blends it into the stem a bit better as well. And it looks cute, so quite a simple detail to add, but I feel like it really makes it when you kind of add those little things. Flowers are in. Pretty happy with it actually. I love the gradient up to yellow. I should probably work on the birdhouse because that I suppose will be the focal point, so I should get that in and then I can figure out what to put around it. The last birdhouse I did, I'll pop it up on screen. It took me many attempts to do this. I made like 3 attempts, which I hated, and it was because I was trying to draw on, like I was taking a piece of paper and I was like drawing the wood elements on like that, but then I realised it just looks so much better if I cut out the individual wooden panels and just stick them to a dark brown so you can see the dark poking up underneath. What I need to do is find myself a piece of dark brown paper, see if there's anything in here which will work. Will that do? Yeah, probably. I mean, you're going to see so little of it anyway. Doesn't really matter. I might just make it a little bit more reddish brown. Just wetted that and smudged it out a bit. How did I wet it? I used my spit. It gets the job done. That's now smudged in a bit more, so that's more of a reddish brown. I'm also thinking, should I do a template first? Because there's no way I'm going to be able to cut this to be symmetrical. Alright, let's cut it from this. This is a... I don't use this colour very often. So I will fold this in half and then that'll give me something symmetrical when I actually cut it out. Now, do I want it to be like parallel lines, or I mean, I guess I could do it not parallel first to see if I like it, and then I can always cut it to be more parallel if I change my mind. I'm going to start big and I can just cut it smaller and smaller until I like the size of it. So is that the size? Let me make it a bit straighter and then I can cut it out with proper paper. Happy with that? Okay, I'll cut this out now from here. Alright, so this is our base. The base we're going to build everything on top of. But I reckon I'll just end up using this paper here. I use it a lot in most of my collage. Feature this in some way. It's my elephant poo paper. It's my paper made from elephant poo. Use it a lot. Really like it. Would highly recommend a bit of elephant poo. Here we go. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it out from a template. The reason I like this paper is you can see it's got loads of little like flakes in it, because all the other paper I use is just printer paper, but this paper is obviously handmade, so it's a little bit thicker, and I think it's just nice when there's like kind of different textured paper in a collage, because although you can't really see it through the screen, I can see it in real life, and when there's a bit of this paper on it, it pops out a lot more from the page and it's got a little bit more texture, so you can really feel it when you run your hands across it. Although that's something which, you know, obviously you can't get from a print or through the screen. I'm gonna get my little birdhouse. In case you missed it, this was March's downloadable, printable download, whatever, I don't know how to word it. Basically, you can print this out and make it yourself if you have a printer. I make one every month, some different kind of downloadable, and I turned the birdhouse that I collaged, did a lot of editing to it to, you know, make it have like these blank sides, and editing like these to be brown and adding on extra textures. Anyway, there you go. There's my little promo. If you've not already downloaded it and you like the look of this and you have access to a printer, why not? It's cute. I hang it up from my shelf. It looks really cute. And then I also have a paper bird downloadable ornament as well, so it goes really nicely with the paper bird. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there for me to look at. I'm going to cut little bits from this, little wooden panels. That will sit on top of this one. And then when I stick them together, I'm going to leave little brown bits in between, so it looks like individual wood panels. But before I do that, I'm going to go in and like rip, you can see like I've ripped little bits out to make it look a bit like the knots in the wood, like it's been sitting out in the garden for, you know, a few years and it's gotten weathered. So I'm just going to rip little chunks out of it. I could have got a white piece of paper, I could have drawn brown lines on it, and I could have drawn brown little circles, but it would have looked really flat. And like, you might as well, in times like this, like collage couldn't be more of a perfect media to work in, because you can like physically create those layers, make it look a bit rough with my nail, just digging it in a bit so it's not super perfect and straight. I'm going to try and stick them as well a little bit wonky, because I don't want the black line in between them all to be the exact same width. So I have a big gap up here, but then like no gap down here. Otherwise I just think it's like too uniform. And this time I'm going to stick it so there's no gap at the top really, and then a much bigger gap at the bottom, so it looks a bit more, I don't know, weathered that way. Right, there you go. That's quite a cute little birdhouse base. What I'm going to go in with now is my watercolour set. And I like to use this just to add little details. So on this, I used the watercolour set to do these little twisty vines because I was trying to do them with paper, but it was just too clunky and I wanted it to be more delicate. And when you want something to be delicate, I think it's best to do it with the pencils or extra paints instead of doing it out of paper, because the paper, trying to do all this up with paper would have looked clunky. So I might just add a few like wood details, try and like do some lines in the wood with the watercolour, although this doesn't react the best to the elephant poo paper, but if you're careful with it, it looks fine. Okay, so I didn't film for a bit because my camera needed to charge and I'm on a deadline to get this done, so I couldn't stop. Not much has changed, to be honest, though, because I work that slow. The big changes are I've just been adding a few little details in and amongst the leaves. Really not much has changed at all because I spent so long moving bits of paper around that I decided I didn't like. I've decided I'm going to put another one of these plants down here, but a shorter one and probably more yellow than purple. I added some extra details onto here as well, just with the watercolour. Oh, I also added in like a little birdhouse base and just a little bit of like extra detail here. See, I'm at the awkward stage now where I'm just like moving bits of paper around and not really knowing what direction to take this collage in. I need to just start adding flowers, but I don't quite know what colours to do them. Got like a little pile of potential colours here, which could be nice. I quite like this pop of yellow would be nice, maybe up here, like a pop of yellow. But then I also think like this blue could be interesting. Too much paper everywhere. I've let it get out of hand. It's just too much paper. It's an absolute chaos on this desk. Just literally a mountain of paper next to me. I'm going to cut out one of these shapes and turn them into flowers. I don't know how well this will pop because this is a lighter green. It really popped on top of here because it was on top of a darker green, but this is light green now, so I don't even know if it'll pop. Let me see. Is there even enough contrast? Okay, I'm just going to work now on popping the flowers in here and just building another one of these, but here. I have been fiddling about with flowers for a while, trying out different shapes, not really knowing what works, what looks good, but I think I've found something quite nice with these little yellow bits. Don't know what flowers they're meant to be. I'll leave it up to your imagination. Sometimes I'll use reference pictures for my flowers and other times it's just like what shape looks good and what colour looks good. I'm sure there's a flower in the world which looks like this. I really want to finish this today. It's getting late though, it's 9 o'clock now, so a few more hours of work. Hopefully only one more hour of work. I'm in the zone right now. So if I can stay as focused as I am now, I reckon I could do it. Because like I just have to put some pretty flowers up here. And then it's basically done. I might just add a few lines in here like that. Oh no. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Instant regret. I don't like these lines. That'll do. I'll just do them really faint on the rest of it. I've cut out this shape, which I think is quite... Oh, dropped it. Cut out this shape, which I think is quite interesting, to go into the middle of a flower. Maybe like up here, kind of like maybe a few of them swooping across. Maybe that side kind of swooping like that. But I want something underneath it. I did try it with a bit of red underneath, but I don't know if the red's a bit too harsh. I don't know if I want to introduce this to the palette. Could be cool though. I don't really like this shape though, I'd try again. I did cut out, I've lost them though, oh, but they're right there. Some other potential flower shapes. They actually look quite cute. Anyway, that's the update. I'm going to start messing about with flowers for a while now. And here's the finished collage along with all the mess on my desk because of the collage. Although to be fair, I did another piece before this, like this big A3 commission, so a lot of the mess is mainly because of that, but obviously this caused a bit of mess as well. And here's the finished piece. I really like it. Just a little reminder as well, if you would like to receive a print of this in the post, it's available as this month's Patreon print. So yeah, just pledge to the little snips tier on Patreon at any point this month in June. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and seeing a bit of real-time collage footage, and that's all from me. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.